haven't made it yet. I'm still knocking at the door, family. Good rising. Black Finish checking in. Right now, I am in my hometown of McGee, Arkansas. And I was just riding around, hitting a couple blocks, family. Right now, I'm actually outside of Mama's house. And, I was just thinking about the perception of others. Sometimes people will look at you in different ways where you don't really look at yourself. And a lot of it, I believe, is when you're doing what you're meant to do, like when you are following your purpose, when you're pursuing who you are naturally, like organically. You don't look at yourself the way that people view you. And I had someone ask me a question, and I really thought about it. You know, um, the gentleman said, "What is it a way that people see you, view you, or think about you that you don't view or think, yourself in those same terms?" I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what it is? Some people view me as I've already made it, you know, as being famous, so to speak. But I don't think I have. I think, I still have a long ways to go. I'm still knocking, you know what I mean? And what made it ironic to him was he said, when I ran across some of your information, he said, you impressed me. You inspired me like someone that's already famous that we know. He threw me in the category of a TD Jakes, and I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't no TD Jakes, you know what I mean? But it was funny that he said, I respect you, like the information and the and the message that I got from you made me think of someone on that level. And he was like, once I got to following you some and I got to checking out certain sites, and I was like, man, his numbers isn't up there like this type of people, but he's giving this information out like he's this type of person. And I just remain humble, man. I'm just doing what's on the heart. You know what I mean? A lot of times I just come, live, organic. Sometimes I might upload something that I might, reconstruct or whatnot, but majority of the time, I realize that we face things and we need to know how to handle things in life as it comes. It don't need to be made up. It don't need to be a myth. You know what I mean? It just need to be realistic. We all gonna face something. We all gonna experience different things, and it's all about how you come out on the other side. So being in my hometown now, some people look at me as if I made it or I'm at a level that I don't really see myself on. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to let it be remembered, family. I'm just trying to live out my purpose. I just want to do all I can while I can. I want to be a good father. You know what I mean? You know, I want to, I want to be a good businessman. I want to be a good leader. I want to be a good servant of God. So, I think that all of these things all reflect on me working on myself. And, I like to say, like, I consider myself like a hot air balloon. If you can blow all the smoke you want to, but once you stop, it's going to go back down to size. And, I just know who I am. So you can't blow my head up bigger than what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I done seen it. You know what I mean? Like, once you done witness that the grass isn't greener on the other side, the old folks used to say that, man, the grass ain't greener on the other side now. Once you actually witnessed it and you actually seen what go on the other side and what side you was on, you use that information, because I think that it's valuable that we use the information from being on both sides, from being able to go through some hard, rough times and survive, and also being able to address life as it come. And it, like, it really builds character in you, everything you go through. In the past, I'm not gonna lie, fam, I used to sit there and say, like, man, I wish this didn't happen to me. Maybe things could have been better doing this route, or maybe I would have been this person. But once you think about it, I really feel like all those misfortunes, all the things that happened to me that, at one time in my life, I wish that would never happen, made me who I am today. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be who I am today if I wouldn't experience those heartaches, if I wouldn't have went through those moments when I was incarcerated and isolated by myself and in a cell trying to figure it out, talking, like Kevin Gates said, talking to, whatever God that'll listen to you, you know what I'm saying? When you in that humbling spot where you're like, man, I'm just trying to find a way, you know what I mean? Checking in. What up with the family? What up with the family? So sometimes, man, you just get caught up and just try to find your way, you know what I mean? And it's ironic. I was listening to the that Slim Thug song called Church, and man, you just you gon' when you got a when you got a purpose to soar like an eagle, you know what I mean. You're gonna have some chickens around you, that's probably gonna try to tell you that, hey man, you can't do that. You can't fly like that. You know what I'm saying? But you was just raised among them. You had a different purpose. You know what I mean? They say that a person, a king can be born poor. Like he can be born in a different spot, not knowing he's royalty. And then once he wake up one day and he, find out he's royalty, he tend to go back to where he should be, sitting on the throne and go take it, go get back, what belongs to him. And I just think that that's part of our development too, going through things like that, we have to realize that something people gonna hold you back, and it's crazy because some of the people that hold you back the most gonna be some of the people you love the most that don't love you, in the same sense or in return. Yeah, man, it's crazy because we're gonna have to realize that, man, as we come into this 2023. I think like this year, it's the time to really get our priorities in line. You know, um, it was crazy. I was talking to my wife this morning, and she said something that really stood out. She said, a real friend is going to be there when a boyfriend or when a husband is not going to be there. When a girlfriend or, a wife isn't going to be there. You're always going to have a real friend. And you never want to jeopardize your real friend because people grow. And you might be with someone that you might outgrow. Y'all might outgrow one another. But if you have a real friend though, you know what I mean? Real friends gonna always be around through thick and thin, even if y'all don't see eye to eye. You're gonna always, have that relationship. And it's crazy that, you get to certain periods and points in your life where you realize who you're really, who are your friends. Most of us got Facebook pages and people have, a couple thousand friends, couple hundred friends, and you think that, oh, I got all these friends, but these are all, it's almost like pretend. It's almost like your friends on thing, especially on Facebook. It's almost like fictitious holidays. I'm like Christmas. You know what I mean? We know that, ain't nobody climbing down the chimney dropping no toys off. You know what I'm saying? You know that we know that Scrooge really exists. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, for real. What you said, when you got sock friends, regular friends come and go, man. And it's so real, family, because, I was just thinking this morning riding, and I'm just up riding, family. So it's early. I'm up thinking, got a lot on my mind, and I was just thinking about how some of the people that I thought, some of the people that I had a whole lot of respect for, if I wouldn't have never came back to my hometown, this is family and friends, I still have respect for them to this day. But by me coming and being closer and seeing what's really, really going on, it made me see that, I've been talking and walking. They just talking. A lot of people just talk a good game. And, it's easy to keep your bluff up when you ain't got nobody around you actually doing what you say you doing. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't doing it. You know what I mean? People say, "Oh yeah, I'm down. I'm supporting this." But when you got somebody that's actually doing this, you don't want to be a part of it. A lot of people, man, are just selfish. You know what I mean? And that's cool. You just see the truth when when you're trying to give something and you like, nah, I'm about to step back because I see it ain't the same. Me and my daughter was talking, and she had a friend that used to be her best friend. It was like this, and she 15 now, and she was like, you know what, My best friend that used to be my best friend, we don't really, you know, hang out like we used to. We kind of grew apart. And I was like, you know, that happens in life. You're gonna have friends that are gonna be lifetime friends. You gonna have friends where y'all gonna eventually just go different ways. You know what I mean? You're gonna be thinking another way, they're gonna be thinking another way, and you know you meet up and see one another and speak and whatever, you know what I mean, because you know you love them, but y'all don't communicate all the time, you know what I mean. And then you got those friends where you can actually sit there and you can talk to, you can text just for encouragement, you know, for whatever. Y'all do business deals together, you know, you travel together, you make things happen. Those are kind of friends that we need in order to build, like, you know, to really build things, to really have a good life. You know, people are living now, one thing I realized, a lot of people are living life without truly experiencing life, you know, and I would rather live my life and experience life than live life never being able to do things that I want to experience because I was worried about what so and so said or what so and so thought or what this person said. You know, even if it was family, because those we love the most will hold you back because they scared to do it, or they feel like they couldn't do it, or just what they was taught. So no, you can't do that. You're gonna go to hell for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you gotta be around people with an open mind. You gotta be around people who actually thinking outside of the box, who, you know know who they are, who want to really do some soul searching, because a lot of people are too scared to challenge tradition, man. And that's one thing I learned about the South since I've been here. There's a lot of traditional ways that people live by that's it's evident that it doesn't work. Like, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? That isn't real, and they will still uphold it like it's law, and they'll die with it. You know what I mean? And when you see people like that, you just have to recognize and be like, okay, you know, it's kind of like a sleepwalker. You know, I remember, you know, being told you don't wake a sleepwalker because they might hurt you or themselves. So one thing I learned is, when you see someone sleepwalking, it's up to you to step out the way. You can guide them, but you know you can't have no engagement with them without something happening. Yes, yes, the culture chamber, we got involved, man. You know, it's so crazy because everything is changing, family. You know what I mean? Everything is changing. Like, you know, it's all about, you know, in certain part of life, you know, and I'm gonna have to say this way. We have to learn, like, there's a certain thing where it's being selfish towards humanity and towards other people who, you know, 100 with you. But then there's a certain thing as far as like being selfish with your life. Like, certain things you should be selfish with your time, because once your time is gone, it's gone, family. So, you know, certain things we have to be selfish with. Like, I don't, you know, I want to protect my peace. I don't want to be around this crowd if I know this crowd is gonna disturb my peace. You know what I mean? I don't want to be with this person if this person is gonna steal my peace from me. You know what I mean? If I'm not gonna be able to be me, you know. And sometimes we do a lot of compromising, like a lot of times in relationships, we do a lot of compromising where we'll be with people for different motives, you know, maybe because, oh, I just don't want to be alone, or I be with this person, or for financial gain, I'm gonna be with this person so I can do this, but you really, you know, not really happy. You know, it just goes different ways, man. Or, oh man, I'm with this person because the sex just blows me out the water, but y'all can't have a whole discussion, like an individual discussion, without it being in the bedroom. Other than that, you fighting and carry on. You know what I mean? So relationships can be tricky, man. But one thing I learned, that if you're in a relationship or in any type of circumstances where you're not being able to be you can't just be you know what I mean, then I don't think it's healthy, you know what I mean, because you're gonna be tensed up all the time. It's gonna be, you know, it's just, you're not being able to be free, you know what I mean. And I learned, you know, in life, you know, we gotta have finances. Everything costs. We know everything costs. And if you don't pay for it, you're gonna be a bum and or not have it, or, you know, so that's a choice you can make. You can say, hey, I don't want to pay for nothing, you can live on the street. But if you're gonna be in a part of the system, everything costs, family. Everything that we do, they charging us. You know what I'm saying? They charging us for it. So we gotta figure out a way to make some money. Yes, pawns on the church, man. We gotta pay attention, family. We gotta pay attention because everything that we do costs money. So we have to be realistic. Okay, well, I got to figure out a way to make money, and we got to know that, you know, for those who entrepreneurs are really thinking about business, we have to know that on these jobs you put in 10, 15, 20 years in, you have to learn something other than just going and punching the clock and getting the paycheck. You should learn the system of the business, learn the system of flow and how the thing's supposed to go versus just, punching the clock. Because the goal is to branch off and do your own thing, because that's what you're going to find your peace at. It is a such thing as doing what I love to do and making money from it. We just have to learn the process. Like, you can do what you really love to do, and you can make a nice income at doing it. You can make, if you're the person that want to make, stupid money, you can do that. Like, I think that we limit ourselves. You know what I mean? But, for me to say that I've already made it, I can't, I don't look at it like that because, but then again, let me say something too while I'm thinking about this. Sometimes we can put judgment on ourselves by looking at somebody else's circumstance. Like I say, I can look and say, oh, I'm not a TD Jakes. I'm not a motivational speaker like the brothers in the $1 Million Podcast. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at myself like that. But then someone else might say, man, you encouraged me like that. You motivated me like they did. You put something on my mind. You gave me something that I couldn't, that I would have got if I was networking with them. So if I was listening to them, so, it makes me humble because I don't look at it like that. And then I think it's a good thing because that's not my objective. My objective isn't to tickle somebody's ear, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be realistic, family. And like, especially on the grind and what we're doing, we're building businesses and renovating and just living life, because we got to know that no matter what you go through, you're gonna have to survive it. You're gonna have to make a personal choice if you want to survive. There's gonna be obstacles that might say, nah, you can't do this here. And then you're gonna have to say, nah, I'm finna figure it out. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. Yesterday we was at my aunt's house. I looked at a tree that literally grew through a fence. Tree big. The tree then wrapped around somehow and grew through the fence completely. And the fence, the pole, everything is through this tree. And this tree is here firm, steady growing. Sometimes, fella, we have to be just like that. There's going to be obstacles in our life that will not move. It's things that's not going to change. We can't change what happened to us in the past. We can't change what so-and-so did. We can't change what we made a decision on. We got to just live with it and move on. But if we want to still shine and live to be remembered and really get our hog on, we're going to have to be like that tree. Regardless of this pole or this fence in my way right now, I'm finna grow through this. It might still be there, but you're going to still see me shining. You know what I mean? So that's one thing we got to realize. Your past is going to be a part of you, family. It's going to be a part of you. This tree that I looked at is evident. Like, your past is always going to be there, but that doesn't mean you can't outgrow it. This tree outgrew its past. It had an obstacle there. It grew through it and kept blossoming. You know what I mean? So in life sometimes, man, I think that's what we have to do. And that's why I feel like I haven't made it there yet, or I'm still knocking on the door, literally, because I'm hungry, family, and I'm going to keep knocking on the door, you know what I mean? Because I think that the knock change sometimes. You can be looking for one specific thing in life, and then you realize that you have to shift it up. It changes, and then you're like, you know what? I'm not on this no more. I conquered this, but now I want to be on this, because this is going to always be personal things that you have to work on with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't deal with a whole lot of people, you know what I mean? But when I deal with people like, if I tell you I love you, if I say I mess with you, I mess with you. You know what I mean? Like, if I text you or we communicate, I mess with you for real. You know what I mean? If something happened to you, I'll be concerned. I want to come and check on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool like that. But if I don't, then I don't. So I'm not the person that's going to give you two faces. Like, oh, he cool with me, but nah. If I'm not cool with you, I'm not cool with you. But that's just how I am, though. You know what I mean? And sometimes I have had where I feel like some people have told me I have cut people off too early, so to speak. Like, man, somebody crossed that line, you just cut them off. But I feel like that's how I had to survive in prison. I went through 10 years, a decade of surviving, and I had to cut certain individuals off or to put me in a situation. You know what I mean? And I can't I can only vouch for what I would do in a sticky situation. I didn't see people in sticky situation that says, I'm a man, I'm gonna do this. And when that situation came, they bent over, family. They decided to compromise. And, so I had to cut myself off. So even though I love this person, I couldn't have been associated with this person while I was incarcerated, or people would think I'm just like that. No, I'm not weak like that. I'm not bending over. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing me like that. So I think that right there made me stand out a lot and really helped me, you know, form these form these walls, I would say, and or having times where I tend to fall back into that, because sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I can be going through stuff mentally, and I just fall back. Like, it's almost like those moments when I was in that cell, family, like when I was in isolation, with some of the times I was there so long where my thoughts started being, getting clear. So if I got a lot on my mind, sometimes I tend to isolate myself, like by myself, to really think and get things out. And some people like, man, why you ain't talking? Or I just kind of just go to and won't talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Until I figure it out. And I'm not saying that is healthy, but that's something that's like a defense mechanism, so to speak, that I formed in there to survive, that time. So I can be honest with you now and just say I can see how that prison time messed me up in a sense. It motivated me, but it also, through certain things that can happen to me now, to make me respond different. Like certain words, certain people say, certain actions, I respond different because I'm used to hearing this going there. So I have to remind myself, okay, I'm not in this situation. That's just what it is. Maybe because I was always had to, you get in a situation where you have to fight to prove you are a man. Like you had to literally fight, willing to die to prove that you a man. So when you out hearing someone say this and this, or you see what's going on, it discourages you a little bit. Like, man, dude, I had to fight. I had to produce blood, sweat, and tears to prove who I was, and you out here false flagging. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what people do. You know what I mean? What'd you say now? Yes, what you just said, the deeper the hole. Yes, man, what you said. So, family, like I say, this morning, I just wanted to come to you loud. I was out riding, thinking about just life itself. About people thinking that you on certain levels, and to you, you're just still knocking on the door. Because to me personally, family, I'm still knocking on the door. I haven't made it to where I want to be at, but I feel like as long as I keep knocking, I'm eventually get there. You know what I mean? And I'm just willing to do whatever it takes, like, because I have seen that in my 41 years, knocking on 42 years in a couple of days, that if you want to get something done in life for real, get something for real done, you're gonna have to do it yourself. You're gonna have to figure out a way to do it yourself. Like, and eventually the movement, if it's meant to move, the people will come eventually around to help you do what you started to do. And you probably had majority of it done before everybody come. But one thing I learned, it's better to be a 51% owner and have all your needs met than 100% owner and struggling, family. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind when you're dealing with business, when you're dealing with growth, when you're building yours, because don't just sit in the car. If it breaks down, jump out the car and start pushing it yourself. And you will be surprised the loyal friends or the people you will meet that will actually stop and help you push yourself out of the road. You know what I mean? Out of harm's way. But you just can't sit there and just say, Lord, somebody help me. Somebody throw me something. Give me a lifeguard. Life is hard on me. I don't know what to do. Give me a stimulus check. Somebody give me something. You know what I mean? Like, man, like if people always rescue you as soon as you feel some type of discomfort, you will never learn how to deal with discomfort. You'll never learn how to deal with problems. You'll never learn how to troubleshoot and how to deal with your emotions. You just won't just blow up. You know what I mean? You'll kind of like see things through. But You know, we all face different levels. You know what I mean? Like I had to realize that even about my father. You know what I mean? I realized that my father was God used him to me. My father was like the example of Moses' father, so to speak. It was his purpose to birth him. It was his purpose to create him. It was his seed that got me here. But it wasn't his seed. It wasn't going to be him that taught me, that trained me, that got me to the way that the place I needed to be as a man. You know, that wasn't his purpose, but it was meant for me to be here. And so sometimes, you know, we'll get caught up and say, well, why so and so one like this? Well, why you treat me like this? Why, you know, we can go through them whys. We can go through those shoulda, coulda, woulda all day. You know what I mean? I remember I remember my homie mom used to always say that shoulda, coulda, woulda, but you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So we can go through that all day, but it's all about saying, you know what, this happened to me. How can I use this situation to actually better my situation? You know what I mean? How can I become better besides becoming bitter? Because I don't want to be stagnated, family. You know what I mean? Like I realize time is more valuable than money. And I always like to say that, like, time is more valuable than money, but we need money. We need commerce here in order to live, to have things, to be comfortable. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. You're gonna have to pay to live and you're gonna have to pay to die, family. You know what I mean? But we need it here. So I think that, like I heard this one guy say, you know, never be satisfied with that one contract you get. You hit a lick and you like, man, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Always hungry, family, because I'm always hungry. I don't want to depend on one way. And I think that's why I really stress that products over talent, because don't just depend on your talent, because your talent alone can make you become a slave. You can become wore out. You're gonna only be able to do physically certain things for so long where you're gonna have to switch it up. If that's the only way you're gonna eat, you're gonna stop eating soon, because there's gonna be certain things you can't do physically. It's impossible. So we got to learn how to allow our money to make money. You know, we have to learn. That's where the financial literacy come in. We have to learn how to do that so it can free us up sometimes to actually do what we want to do. Then we can start doing what we love to do and making income and living life. But I think that's a process, because the end goal is freedom, family. Be free, free to go. If my kids, grandbabies need me in Fayetteville, if I need to shoot out to Atlanta, if I need to shoot out to Phoenix, I need to shoot to LA, to need to holler at some people in DC, I can do what I need to do. To me, that's the freedom. Like that's what I want, to be able to just move and go as I come, to be able to help and inspire people on a level where it's not like work. You know, I heard T.I. the other day said, you know, he was done with the podcast and he said, man, it was too much like work. Do this script, say this, put this. It wasn't me. It was more like so constructed. And so that's why I love the way that I'm doing my channel. You know, hopefully soon, hopefully this camera is pretty decent today. Hopefully I'll be getting another camera, so have better footage. But my goal is to just keep it organic, man. I don't want to have those strings attached to me giving a message or just talking about whatever. Oh, I got to do it like this, and it's so constructed. Then you know the message isn't the same. You know, I heard a guy say, if you speak to a mind, you reach a mind, but if you speak to a heart, you reach a heart. And when you do things organically, and when you're really trying to touch people, you know, the mind can remember things, but the heart lives from what it remember. It lives off of it. So if you can give somebody something that touches their heart, it could actually go longer than it just going through. You know how old people say that just went through one end out the other. Did you might use it for a quick second, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? But just wanted to, like I say, talk to you about that. Like I said, I'm just up early. You know, just trying to figure it out, man. Thinking about some moves I got to make, some decisions, working on some renovations in my aunt's, also trying to figure out, you know, getting the shipping container. The prices are kind of going crazy, so looking like it's going to be close to $5,000, you know what I mean, to actually get the container And that's just a container, you know, without me buying the materials and stuff I need to actually pull it off. But it's going to work out, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to stay on that, figure out how I'm going to get to that next stage. And I'm going to keep hogging, family, you know what I mean? Living to be remembered one day at a time. But I don't feel like I made it. I'm still knocking on the door, family. And I think that as long as I'm here, I want to stay knocking on the door. I don't want to be like, I don't want to get to the point where I'm like the rich man, so to speak, that built the barn. He built it and then he sat back when he was done. Oh man, look what I did. Look how I showed out. And then God say, fool, today your life is required of you. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to enjoy each stage as I accomplish these different things, but I don't want to never get to the stage where I feel like, oh, I'm done. I'm kick my feet up. I ain't, you know, I want to be a part. I want to be, you know, a part of the process the whole time. Yes, and overcome the obstacles. Yes, sir. You know what? It's crazy because we have to show actions, man. Actions are gonna always speak louder than words, family. Always. So, you know, today I just want to talk about that because I thought about, you know, someone asking me that, and I know that I'm still knocking. You know, I know I'm not where I want to be yet, but the goal is to constantly get better. Is to get better over time, better over time, better over time. So, you know, that's the goal. That's my objective, and I just feel like no matter what you go through, you know what I mean. I want to state this publicly. We should be proud of who we are, proud of what you survived, proud of, you know, of each stage you accomplished. But pride goes before destruction, family, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Pride can be tricky. So it's all right to apologize. It's all right to admit your faults, but don't get caught up and turn something into a false idol or a false god because you had too much pride. If you see a situation where you say, hey, that's a red flag, maybe I need to go right this time instead of going left. Don't let the pride get in the way. Don't let the pride get in the way of a good friendship or good relationship, business move, whatever the situation is. Stay humble, family. Stay humble, because one thing I know, you know, just because you stay humble don't mean you looking down. I'm looking up, family, and I'm staying humble because I'm knowing I'm gonna elevate. You know what I mean? So just because you staying humble don't mean you staying down. You know what I mean? You just staying grounded. Hold on, family.